The studio lights blazed down on the set of The View, where the audience buzzed with anticipation for the arrival of Hollywood icon Kevin Costner, fresh off his latest directorial triumph in the sweeping Western epic Horizon, an American saga. As the co-hosts settled into their seats, Whoopi Goldberg flashed her signature grin, moderating the panel with her usual poise, while Sunny Hostin adjusted her notes, ready to dive into legal angles of celebrity life, and Alyssa Farah Griffin prepared her conservative takes on pop culture. But it was Joy Behar, the fiery veteran with her sharp wit and unfiltered opinions, who seemed particularly charged that morning, her red-framed glasses perched on her nose as she scanned the cue cards with a mischievous glint in her eye. The segment kicked off smoothly enough, with Costner charming the crowd in his rugged denim shirt and cowboy boots, recounting tales from the dusty trails of his film sets, his voice gravelly and earnest as he described the challenges of portraying America's frontier spirit in a modern lens. He spoke passionately about the themes of resilience and manifest destiny, drawing parallels to today's divided society, and the audience applauded warmly, hanging on his every word. Yet, as the conversation shifted to politics, a staple on The View, tensions began to simmer beneath the surface. Behar, never one to shy away from controversy, leaned forward with a pointed question about Costner's rumored conservative leanings and how they meshed with Hollywood's liberal elite, her tone laced with sarcasm that cut through the air like a knife. Costner, taken aback but composed, defended his independent streak, emphasizing that art transcends party lines and that his films aimed to unite rather than divide. The exchange grew heated as Behar pressed on, accusing him of romanticizing a problematic historical narrative that glossed over indigenous injustices, her voice rising in volume while the other hosts tried to interject with lighter comments. Costner countered firmly, citing historical research and his commitment to authenticity, but Behar doubled down, waving her hands dramatically and declaring that his vision was outdated in a woke world. The audience gasped as the back-and-forth escalated, with Costner maintaining his cool demeanor, refusing to backpedal, while Behar's frustration mounted, her cheeks flushing red under the studio makeup. Producers in the control room exchanged nervous glances, sensing the segment veering off script, but the live broadcast rolled on, capturing every barbed word and uncomfortable pause. Finally, as commercial break loomed, Behar slammed her hand on the table, exclaiming that Costner's ego was as big as his ego trips in Yellowstone, prompting a stunned silence from the panel. Costner, ever the gentleman, attempted to diffuse with a joke about wrangling cattle being easier than talk shows, but the damage was done and the clash had ignited a firestorm that would soon explode beyond the set walls. Whispers rippled through the crowd as security personnel hovered nearby, ready to intervene if needed, while social media began lighting up with clips leaked from audience phones. This wasn't just an interview gone awry, it was a collision of worlds, where Tinseltown met daytime TV drama in the most explosive way possible. As the break hit, the tension lingered, setting the stage for what would become one of the most talked-about moments in talk show history. The atmosphere on The View set was palpably thicker, like the calm before a prairie storm in one of Costner's westerns, with the audience shifting uneasily in their seats and the co-hosts exchanging sidelong glances that spoke volumes without words. Whoopi Goldberg tried to steer the ship back to safer waters, pivoting to lighter topics like Costner's family life and his passion for music, but Joy Behar wasn't done yet, her earlier ire simmering just below the surface as she interrupted with a snide remark about male directors dominating narratives in an industry crying out for diversity. Costner, his jaw tightening ever so slightly, responded with measured words about supporting female talent behind the camera, citing collaborations and his belief in meritocracy over quotas, but Behar rolled her eyes dramatically, muttering under her breath about privilege that drew murmurs from the crowd. Sunny Hostin jumped in to mediate, asking about the cultural sensitivities in Horizon, hoping to bridge the gap, yet Behar hijacked the question, launching into a tirade about how Costner's films perpetuated myths that ignored systemic inequalities, her voice booming through the microphones as she gestured wildly. Alyssa Farah Griffin attempted to defend Costner, noting his contributions to American cinema and the importance of free expression, but Behar shot her down with a quip about Republican talking points, escalating the panel into a cacophony of overlapping voices. Costner, growing visibly frustrated, leaned back in his chair and crossed his arms, his eyes narrowing as he accused Behar of twisting his words for sensationalism, pointing out that The View often prioritized gotcha moments over genuine dialogue. The audience split in reactions, to some cheering Costner's candor, others booing in support of Behar's boldness, creating a chaotic energy that fed the frenzy. Producers signaled frantically from offstage, urging moderation, but the live format left little room for edits, and the clash intensified as Behar challenged Costner on his personal politics, dredging up old interviews where he expressed skepticism about certain progressive policies. Costner fired back, defending his right to privacy and artistic freedom, his tone sharpening as he likened Behar's interrogation to a witch hunt. The other hosts looked on in discomfort, with Whoopi finally calling for a timeout, but Behar pressed on relentlessly, her passion for debate overriding decorum. Security guards edged closer to the set, their presence a subtle warning amid the rising decibels, while camera operators captured every flinch and glare for the viewers at home. Social media exploded in real time, with hashtags like #Costner vs. Behar trending worldwide, fans dissecting every moment as if it were a blockbuster showdown. As the segment dragged on, Costner's patience wore thin, leading to a pivotal exchange where he stood up abruptly, declaring he wouldn't sit for character assassination disguised as entertainment. Behar's retort was swift and cutting, accusing him of fragility in the face of tough questions, which only fueled the fire. The studio erupted in applause and jeers, a microcosm of America's polarized discourse, and in that heated instant, the decision was made backstage to cut the interview short, marking the beginning of Costner's unceremonious exit from the show. The climax unfolded in a blur of raised voices and hurried movements on the View stage, where Kevin Costner's standoff with Joy Behar reached its boiling point, transforming a routine celebrity promo into a viral spectacle that would dominate headlines for weeks. As Costner rose from his seat, his face etched with a mix of disbelief and resolve, Behar leaned forward aggressively, her finger pointing accusatorily while she demanded he sit back down and finish the discussion like a man, her words dripping with a kind of New York bravado that had made her a daytime TV staple. The audience held its collective breath, some whipping out phones to record the mayhem despite ushers' pleas to stop, while Whoopi Goldberg banged her gavel-like fist on the table, pleading for order in a voice strained with urgency. Sunny Hostin and Alyssa Farah Griffin flanked Behar, trying to pull her back metaphorically and literally, but the comedian was in full swing, railing against what she called Hollywood hypocrisy and Costner's alleged dismissal of critical social issues. Costner, towering over the panel with his lanky frame, shot back that the show had ambushed him under the guise of hospitality, his Western drawl turning steely as he referenced past guests who'd faced similar grillings. The control room buzzed with panic, directors barking orders to go to commercial early, but the live feed captured it all, the raw emotion, the unscripted furia that made for must-see TV. Security finally stepped in, two burly guards approaching Costner with polite but firm gestures, escorting him off stage amid boos and cheers that echoed through the studio like thunder. Behar, undeterred, turned to the camera with a triumphant smirk, quipping that some cowboys can't handle the heat, which elicited laughter from her supporters and groans from others. Backstage, Costner reportedly fumed in the green room, pacing as his publicist fielded calls from reporters hungry for details, while ABC executives scrambled to contain the fallout, issuing statements about passionate debates being part of the show's DNA. The incident sparked immediate backlash online, with celebrities weighing in, some defending Costner's grace under fire, others praising Behar's no-holds-barred style as memes proliferated showing edited clips of the duo in Wild West duels. Analysts dissected the cultural implications, noting how it highlighted generational and ideological rifts in entertainment, with Costner's old-school machismo clashing against Behar's progressive firebrand persona. In interviews later, Costner would reflect on the ordeal with a chuckle, admitting it was more intense than any on-set stunt, while Behar doubled down on her stance during subsequent episodes, turning the controversy into ratings gold. The View's viewership spiked that week, proving that conflict sells. But at what cost to civility and public discourse? As the dust settled, questions lingered about whether such clashes foster understanding or deepen divides, with fans speculating on potential apologies or rematches. Ultimately, the event cemented Costner's reputation as a straight shooter and Behar as an unapologetic provocateur, their heated exchange becoming a cautionary tale for future guests navigating the treacherous waters of daytime talk. In the aftermath of Kevin Costner's dramatic departure from The View, the studio descended into a whirlwind of post-show analysis and damage control, with Joy Behar holding court at the center like a queen unchallenged, her co-hosts rallying around her as the audience filed out buzzing with excitement over the unexpected drama. Whoopi Goldberg wrapped the episode with a hasty sign-off, her usual humor tempered by the lingering awkwardness, while producers huddled in corridors, reviewing footage to assess the PR implications of what had just transpired on national television. Costner, meanwhile, was whisked away through a side exit to avoid paparazzi, his team issuing a brief statement emphasizing his respect for differing opinions but decrying the lack of mutual courtesy. Social media platforms lit up like a bonfire, with Twitter nows overflowing with threads debating who was in the right, polls favoring Costner for his composure versus Behar's audacity, and viral videos amassing millions of views in hours. Late-night hosts like Jimmy Fallon and Stephen Colbert seized the moment for monologues, parodying the clash with exaggerated impressions that had audiences roaring, further amplifying the story's reach. Behar, ever the media-savvy veteran, appeared unfazed in follow-up segments, joking about the incident while subtly shading Costner's sensitivity, which only poured gasoline on the online fire. Critics from entertainment outlets weighed in, some lambasting The View for crossing into ambush journalism, others applauding Behar for holding powerful figures accountable in an era of accountability. Costner's fans mobilized in his defense, launching petitions for boycotts and flooding ABC with complaints, while Behar's loyalists countered with memes celebrating her as a truth-teller unafraid of star power. Behind the scenes, rumors swirled of tense network meetings where executives debated disciplinary actions, though ultimately, the boost in ratings likely shielded everyone from severe repercussions. Costner, channeling his inner frontiersman, turned the negativity into promotion for Horizon, granting interviews where he downplayed the feud but highlighted his film's themes of conflict resolution. Behar, on her part, used the platform to pivot to broader discussions on gender dynamics in media, positioning herself as a feminist icon standing up to patriarchal attitudes. The incident even sparked think pieces in major publications like the New York Times and Variety, exploring how celebrity interviews have evolved into battlegrounds for cultural wars. As days turned to weeks, the story refused to die, with both parties indirectly benefiting. Costner's movie tickets surged from curiosity seekers, and The View enjoyed its highest streaming numbers in months. Yet, beneath the spectacle lay deeper questions about respect in discourse, with educators and psychologists citing it as an example of how not to engage in debate. In the end, what started as a promotional spot morphed into a cultural touchstone, reminding viewers that even in the polished world of TV, raw human emotions can shatter the facade at any moment. Reflecting on the broader ripple effects of Kevin Costner's ejection from The View following his fiery tangle with Joy Behar, the entertainment industry found itself at a crossroads, pondering the fine line between spirited discussion and outright hostility in an age where every moment is captured and critiqued online. Pundits across networks dissected the exchange frame by frame, with CNN panels debating media ethics and Fox News highlighting perceived liberal bias, turning a single segment into a proxy for national divisions. Costner, retreating to his Montana ranch, focused on post-production for his next project. But the incident lingered in his public persona, with fans dubbing him the unbreakable cowboy in supportive forums. Behar, thriving on the controversy, incorporated references into her stand-up routines and book promotions, her memoir sales spiking as readers sought insights into her combative style. The View's format came under scrutiny, with former guests sharing similar war stories of unexpected grillings, prompting calls for more transparent booking practices. ABC, navigating the storm, released a carefully worded apology acknowledging the passion of all involved without assigning blame. a move that appeased advertisers wary of backlash. Social influencers capitalized on the buzz, creating reaction videos and deep dives that garnered ad revenue, while TikTok trends reenacted the clash with humorous filters. Costner's co-stars from Yellowstone and Horizon rallied publicly, praising his integrity and decrying the treatment, which fueled speculation about behind-the-scenes Hollywood feuds. Behar's colleagues on the show expressed solidarity in interviews, with Whoopi Goldberg emphasizing the importance of diverse viewpoints, even if they clash spectacularly. The event also inspired satirical sketches on Saturday Night Live, where impersonations of the duo had viewers in stitches, blending comedy with commentary on celebrity fragility. As the narrative evolved, personal anecdotes emerged. Costner reportedly reached out privately to smooth things over, though Behar maintained her stance without regret. Analysts predicted long-term impacts, suggesting future guests might demand pre-approved questions, potentially diluting the show's edge. In cultural essays, the incident was framed as a metaphor for America's inability to converse across aisles, with Costner representing traditional values and Behar embodying progressive challenge. Merchandise even popped up online, from t-shirts proclaiming "I survived the View" to mugs with quips from the argument, turning tragedy into commodity. Ultimately, both emerged stronger. Costner's box office proved resilient, and Behar's relevance soared among younger demographics discovering her through viral clips. The saga underscored television's power to amplify voices, for better or worse, leaving an indelible mark on how stars and hosts interact in the spotlight. Years from now, the infamous Kevin Costner-Joy Behar showdown on The View will likely be remembered as a pivotal moment in pop culture lore, a testament to the unpredictable alchemy of live television where egos collide and sparks fly, etching itself into the annals alongside other legendary on-air meltdowns. In retrospectives, documentarians might explore the build-up, tracing Costner's promotional tour fatigue and Behar's penchant for provocation as perfect storm ingredients. The audience that day became unwitting participants in history, their reactions immortalized in bootleg footage that circulated endlessly. Costner, ever the stoic figure, channeled the experience into his art, perhaps infusing future roles with layers of defiance drawn from the ordeal. Behar, basking in the afterglow, continued to dominate headlines, her unyielding spirit inspiring a new generation of commentators unafraid to ruffle feathers. The View adapted subtly, incorporating more balanced segments while retaining its core of candid talk, ensuring the show's longevity amid changing viewer tastes. Legal experts speculated on potential lawsuits, though none materialized, highlighting the implicit understanding that such dramas are part of the entertainment bargain. Fan communities splintered and reformed, with crossover discussions bridging Western enthusiasts and talk show devotees. Costner's philanthropy efforts gained traction post-incident, as supporters donated in his name to causes he championed, turning negativity into positive action. Behar's comedy specials sold out, her material sharpened by the real-life fodder. Media training seminars cited the clash as a case study, advising celebrities on handling adversarial interviews with grace. In Hollywood circles, whispers of blacklists and alliances formed, though publicly, bridges were mended through mutual acquaintances. The event's global reach surprised many, with international outlets translating clips and debating American media norms. As time healed the immediate wounds, both parties occasionally nodded to the incident in interviews, Costner with wry humor and Behar with triumphant anecdotes. The legacy endured in award show banter and reunion specials, where light-hearted jabs kept the memory alive without malice. Ultimately, it served as a reminder that in the arena of public opinion, resilience trumps victory, and what seems like a setback can propel careers to new heights. The story of Costner's kickoff from The View after that heated clash with Joy Behar thus closes not with bitterness, but with the enduring thrill of unscripted human drama.